You pray with more intensity than anyone you know, and you work until your bones ache. But the wealth you chase keeps slipping through your fingers like water. Therefore, Ibn Arabi revealed the terrifying truth about the hidden cadre you are violating. It isn't about how hard you work. It isn't even about how much you pray. The moment I truly understood this concept, the heavy stone of anxiety on my chest vanished, and the provision I had been chasing for years started chasing me. Ibn Arabi, the greatest master, teaches that money does not flee from you because you are unlucky. It flees because your soul is signaling it to leave. By the end of this video, you will know the 3 invisible barriers standing between you and your destiny. But the third one? The third one is going to shock you, because it is the very thing you think is saving you. Ibn Arabi teaches that Rizq, your provision, your money, your sustenance, is like the rain. The rain does not decide where to fall. It falls by divine decree upon the valley and the mountain alike. But, and this is where we get lost, while the rain falls equally, the water only gathers in the valley. It runs off the mountain. Therefore, if you are standing high in your arrogance or rigid in your anxiety, you are like the mountain. You are repelling the very thing you are begging for. Most people believe money is a result of mechanics, cause and effect. I do X, I get Y. But Ibn Arabi shatters this illusion. He takes us into the Alam al-Mithal, the world of images, to show us that money is not a number. It is an energy that requires a specific vessel to hold it. Therefore, if your money never stays, the problem is not with the money. The problem is that your vessel is cracked. We are going to walk through the 3 cracks in your vessel. The first one is the most common, but also the easiest to fix. The first sign that you are blocking your own wealth is the idolatry of causes, or shirk al-asbab. Imagine Ibn Arabi walking through the bustling markets of Andalusia. He is watching the merchants. He sees a man, let's call him the anxious merchant. This man is shouting, sweating, his eyes darting back and forth. He is terrified that if he misses one customer, he will starve. Ibn Arabi stops. He observes the man's spiritual state. He sees that this man believes the customer is the source of his money. He believes his strategy is the source of his safety. But in the eyes of the mystic, this is a form of spiritual blindness. Therefore, the man is punished with the very anxiety he fears. Because he relies on the cause, the work, the Creator withdraws the blessing, leaving the man alone with his effort. And human effort, on its own, is never enough. Have you ever felt that? That panic when a client leaves, or a job is lost? That is the first barrier. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah is al-Musabib al-Asbab, the causer of causes. The job is just the mailman. The client is just the courier. When you treat the mailman like the king, you insult the king. Therefore, the money comes in, but it carries no light. It burns a hole in your pocket. It vanishes on car repairs, medical bills, and sudden debts. Why? Because it was earned with the belief that you made it happen. To remove this barrier, you must shift your gaze. You must work with your hands, but rest with your heart. Now we go deeper. Let's say you trust God. You know He is the provider. But the money still leaves. It flows in and flows right back out. Therefore, you are facing the second barrier. Ibn Arabi calls this the lack of binding gratitude. This is not about saying, Alhamdulillah, with your tongue. That is easy. Even a parrot can speak words of praise. Ibn Arabi is sitting in a candlelit room, writing the Futuhat. He pauses, looking at the flame. He realizes that every blessing has a specific purpose, a hack, a right. The purpose of a candle is to give light. If you use the candle to burn your neighbor's curtain, you have violated the gratitude of the candle. Money is a tool for expansion and service. B-U-T, most of us use money for sedation. We use it to numb our loneliness, to inflate our ego, to show off to people we don't even like. Therefore, the energy of the money turns against us. Ibn Arabi teaches that if you use a blessing for something other than its created purpose, it becomes a curse in disguise. You are asking for wealth to be free, but you use the little you have to build chains debt for status, spending for distraction. The universe is efficient. It sees you misusing the fuel, so it stops sending the fuel. You wonder why the tank is empty. The unseen realm is waiting for you to learn how to drive. And now we reach the third sign, the one I promised would shock you. You have fixed your trust. You are practicing true gratitude. But you are still stuck. Therefore, you must confront the deepest teaching of Ibn Arabi regarding qadr. The third barrier is your identity. Ibn Arabi speaks of the preparedness, istidad. He says, the giver is one, but the receivers differ. Here is the secret. You do not get what you want. You get what you are. Imagine you are asking for a level of wealth that requires you to be a leader, a giver, a person of immense responsibility. But your current identity is built around being a victim. Your current identity is built around struggle. You bond with your friends over how hard life is. You find comfort in the chaos. If you suddenly receive massive abundance, the you that exists right now would have to die. The complainer would have to die. The victim would have to die. And the ego terrifies you with this death. Therefore, you subconsciously sabotage the money to stay safe in the identity you know. Ibn Arabi teaches that the divine flood is always descending. The ocean is trying to pour into your cup, but you are holding a thimble. You are praying for an ocean, but you are only being a thimble. If the ocean poured into the thimble, it would destroy it. So, out of mercy, yes, mercy Allah withholds the ocean to save the thimble. This is the hidden qadr. The barrier is not a wall God put up. It is the boundary of your own self-concept. The reason Ibn Arabi revealed this centuries ago is because he saw the hearts of men. He saw us blaming the stars, blaming the economy, blaming the times we live in. But he wanted to hand you the keys to your own prison cell. If you want the money to stay, you must become a place where it feels at home. Stop worshiping the effort. Trust the provider, not the sweat. Stop misusing the fuel. Use wealth to build, not to numb. Expand your container. Stop being the person who survives. Start being the person who serves. Remember the promise I made at the start? That the third barrier is the reason you are pushing money away? It is because you are afraid of the power you would hold if you were truly abundant. You are afraid of the responsibility. Therefore, tonight, you have a choice. Ibn Arabi said, you are not blocked from your risk. Your risk is blocked from you by the version of yourself you refuse to leave behind. Tonight, ask yourself, which barrier am I carrying? And am I brave enough to let the old version of me die so the prosperous version can be born?